Chris Roberts here for Fight Hub TV. I'm joined by Joe Gallagher. How's things?
Yeah, not too bad, Chris. Lively presser that one, mate.
It was. I don't really know where to start. I suppose the first thing what surprised me the most was David Price's response and his mannerisms throughout that press conference. I can only as well take it as a positive. You know, he's up for it. I wouldn't say he's rattled, you know, he seems determined. I mean, what did you make of his response?
No, I thought Price was very funny. I know Price anyway, he is that. And I just thought he handled it very well. And like when he says, I'm going to get knocked out, he goes, yeah, so what? I've been knocked out before, it doesn't scare me. You haven't. And I just thought he gave the right replies back. And yeah, I don't know whether it's a bit of psychology in their game to get Pricey rattled so he comes out like a bull in a china shop, but he's far too cute, and being an Olympian and winning a medal there, he's got the experience as well to take this in his stride. But
it's nice, isn't it, to see his personality come out like that, you know what I mean? Obviously we've spent time with him down the years and we know kind of through him he kind of, you know, goes with a set sort of persona usually in press conferences, but to see that come out, I say, with the humour was great to see.
No, it was, like I say, and it shows a side that not many people do, and especially this close to a fight. You've been around, you've interviewed him, everyone's stone-faced, everyone's concentrating on the weigh-in tomorrow, and Price has that luxury, he doesn't have to worry about weigh-ins, does he? So I think he can be a little bit more relaxed and laughing and that. But yeah, no, he's a good kid, Price, and I wish him all the best tomorrow night, Saturday night.
Obviously you got Liam Smith out against Sam Egginton. I seen a Twitter post yesterday from Liam, and I had to double take it in terms of just the condition that he's in. What was your sort of thoughts on that, and how do you see him kind of going into this fight? He seems like he's got a new lease of life. He said that a couple of times, but yeah, he looks in fabulous condition going into this fight.
Yeah, Liam, like you say, it's like Liam Smith Mark II, the second chapter of his career. Like I say, he's been a world champion. He's been in the big fights with Canelo, Jamie Mungai, and here he is back in Liverpool. And like you say, I think it's lost on a lot of people that Liam ended Liverpool's drought in world titles. I didn't think they had one for like 20 years, and Liam was the first one. So it's great that he's back here. It's great the platform that he's on. He's in a packed arena, and he's got the ideal opponent to go in there and make a statement. Sam Egginton's got to come to spoil the party. It's Barry's love child. He'll be in his ear telling him, oh, you can do this and do this, Sam, and he'll be usually motivated. But I think in this camp I've seen a very spiteful Liam, a Liam that wants to put a show on. And we all love, as we've seen in the Liam Williams one fight, we all love a snarling Liam Smith.
And where do you see Liam's career now? Obviously, as he's approaching the latter part of his career, if you sort of had like a 2 or 3 year plan, what would you now see that in terms of Liam's progression now over the next couple of years?
Well, after this, I'd love Liam to fight for the European title. I think it's a belt that he hasn't won. I think that the world champions are all busy with fights at the moment, but I'd like Liam Smith to go and win the European title, get that, maybe make a defence of it, or then go if the Jared Hurd fight can be made. That's the fight that he wants. That's a preferable world champion one. He's seen as the number one at 154, and Liam Smith has always fancied that fight. And you know Liam, you just look at his resume, he's never backed down out of a fight or a fighter, and he really wants that one. So I'd say win this, most of them get a European, and then hopefully get Jared Hurd. That's what the next 3 fights I'd like for him.
And obviously not overlooking Saturday, but has there been, you know, any discussions with Eddie and yourself and Liam in terms of making those fights happen further down the line?
No, at the moment. Listen, I think it's all about getting this out of the way, getting everybody excited, and then sitting down and seeing what's available then. But you're asking me, they're my thoughts, and that's what I'd put forward for him.
I want to ask you about Callum, who's just behind you then, in terms of like the next steps with him. I know we've talked about, you know, potential Anfield date. It looks more and more unlikely that's going to happen. But what's sort of the current situation with him at the minute?
Callum, well, it looks like he's heading to New York, Madison Square Garden, most probably on the AJ undercard there, most of the chief support. I think it's a great platform for him over there in America. The eyes of the world will be watching it, him there, the world #1 super one. And if you're doing a Britain versus the rest of the world, how could you not go there and leave the #1 super middleweight in the world back home? And I just think it ticks all boxes for Callum Smith, for the American audience, for the zone, everything, and get a fight there. And then we're after Gilberto Ramirez. That's the fight that we want, and we're looking to do that in the fall. Callum will be out there cheering Crolla, Ramirez on the undercard of that. And I'm sure there'll be a few pictures taken of the pair of them together, but that's the fight that we want.
Is there any frustration from your part or Callum's part that obviously it seems back in, I think it was November at Tony Bellew press conference, obviously it was at that with his titles and everything else, you know, we had real sort of momentum obviously following the Groves win. Is there any sort of frustration that it sort of, because it's almost like the story of his career in terms of stuttering momentum, if you like, is there any frustration you having kind of secured a bigger fight sooner?
Yeah, I'd say so. I did, just to let everyone know, we did, when there was possibly a chance of the White Chisora not happening in December, we did put Callum Smith forward that he would headline that O2. They waited on it a couple of days and then they said no, White Chisora was going, so we did want to get out before the end of Christmas. Obviously then he became a dad in January, and I didn't want no rush really. I wanted him to enjoy becoming a dad, enjoy the birth of his new daughter, and have that and then come back in the gym, and that's where we are now, and he can't wait to get going. And there was talk of a U6 show in Chicago, but that didn't really motivate Callum. He didn't think he'd get much profile from it and he'd be lost. I think that the right fight for him is the one in Madison Square Garden.
And we've got Crolla, Lomachenko 2 weeks away. How have preparations gone for essentially, you know, the biggest fight in Anthony's career?
Yeah, well, everyone's going to say going into it it's the best condition, and I'll let Anthony, he'll tell you, he's been in many big fights now, he'll tell you how he feels. I'm happy with the work that we've done. It's been a tough camp, it's been a frustrating camp at times. It's a right box of tricks, putting a game plan for Lomachenko, but we've brought in the best that we can do to replicate Lomachenko. We've brought in the best southpaw this country's ever produced in Frankie Gavin to pick his brains. Jazza Dickens, what an immense talent he is. Don't know how he's not won more in his career up to date. I think he's got a massive future, and yeah, we've prepared ourselves the best that we can do in going to try and cause one of the biggest upset in sporting history.
I mean, how tactically, as a coach, where do you start with this? You know, it's obviously, you know, it's a massive task, but where tactically and how do you start putting a plan together for this, and what's kind of the process of following that through to fight night?
Well, like everyone does, the study, the sit, the watch Lomachenko, and then you go back to, like I say to Anthony Crolla, you come into the garage, we strip you down, your old habits you've got to get rid of because they're studying you, and we've got to rebuild you with different punches. Your pet shots that were good for other fighters aren't got to work in this kid, and we've got to develop habits that they come second nature to Anthony now in the fight and in the heat of the moment. And that's been the tough part in camp, by having that, because Anthony still wants to revert back to shots that he's comfortable throwing, but them shots that he's comfortable throwing he can't throw because he's got to get picked apart. So it's having that, it's getting somebody to have new habits, and being able to throw them punches, like I say, like they were his first. Do you know what I mean? What comes comfortable to him. So it's just retraining his mind, his body, and his muscles to do something totally different from what they're used to doing, and that's been a tough part in camp.
It was mentioned in the press conference, just to finish off, Joe, about Sam Maxwell, obviously on Saturday, you know, down twice, potentially down the card, not too sure how they were officially, but to come back from that and land that final punch, you know, you made reference to that. One, kind of what did you make of Sam Maxwell's performance, and two, can obviously Anthony take inspiration from that going into his fight?
Yeah, well, I never watched the whole fight. I only seen what I seen on the social media of the knockdown, and then I heard the reports. And then on the same night, Andrew Selby was well ahead and then got beat with a body shot. And they're the things that I say to Anthony, when people are saying you're a big underdog, show me a fight where you've been a favourite. I think you've only been favourite twice in your last 7-8 fights, and before that you were never a favourite for John Murray, you weren't a favourite for Gavin Rees, you weren't a favourite for Perez one, or Barroso, or Ricky Burns. So, and Dow Jordan was touch and go, so, and you pulled them off. So don't listen to that, and look and see what's going on around you. These things do happen, and Lomachenko isn't the type of fighter to have taken Anthony lightly. We know that, and I think that's the problem with him. Is that much of a professional. You see that he's like a Mayweather. He's just like, no matter what he's won, he's still relentless, still thirsty to create history and put in good performances. So no, it's been a tough camp, but Anthony has to look at these things that's going around him, your Sam Maxwell's, the Selby defeat, to show that anything can happen, but we've got to keep believing. We've got to keep believing, and anything can happen.
Joe Gallagher, thanks for talking to Fight Up TV.
Yeah, no problem, thank you. Cheers, thank you, mate. Thanks, mate.
Good man. Cheers.